Okay, so you guys remember when Gregor Robertson, Carney's housing minister, you remember when Gregor Robertson said home prices don't need to go down?
Housing, do you think home prices need to go down? No, I think that we need to deliver more supply, make sure the market is stable. It's a huge part of our economy. We need to be delivering more affordable housing.
Well, the Conservatives have been cooking him in Parliament for the last week or so over that statement.
Mr. Speaker, the housing minister is part of the problem. He said that housing prices do not need to come down. And now we know why. He has $10 million real estate portfolio, including three, not one, two, but three luxury properties. Housing costs have doubled under these Liberals, putting home ownership out of reach for more and more Canadians. How can he sit in his Vancouver penthouse and tell young Canadians that are priced out of the market that prices don't need to come down?
Now, this has been going on for days in question period. I think the Conservatives have spotted a weakness in Gregor Robertson there. You know how we love to hate a rich politician in this country? Being rich is kind of like a weird barometer that people use to judge how corrupt a politician is. Some people even use how rich a politician is to determine whether they expect the politician to actually work for the people or not. It is truly absurd, right? Here's a bit of news flash for you guys. They are all rich. I know, it's shocking, but they probably all own decent sized properties and other investments. Here's a bit of something for you guys. Backbench MPs earn something around 200K. Basic. I'm not talking about add-ons or anything. Basic. 200K. If you do become a minister, you're making 300K base salary. Put a finger up if you make 200K in your job, if you're listening to me right now. Yeah. That's what I thought, right? If you do make 200K and above, let me know what you do in the chat. I'm actually kind of curious because I think it's time for a career change for me, I think. Anyways, look, what we really don't want is for them to be profiting off government politics like Nancy Pelosi style, right? So I should say allegedly because I don't want those problems. But I've got to say the Conservatives have been calling out Gregor Robertson for like a week now about how wealthy he is and saying that that's the reason why he doesn't want home prices to come down. But frankly, I was wondering how long the Liberals would tolerate the personal attacks on Gregor Robertson. I was wondering when the Liberals would get a clue on how to handle this question. And today, somebody finally delivered.
Honorable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There's an old saying about people in glass houses. Well, a lot of those Conservative members also have quite a few investment properties. They rent out their units, Mr. Speaker. But another thing, Mr. Speaker, I just want to reiterate that their leader, Pierre Poilievre, didn't get re-elected, and he continues to live in taxpayer-funded government housing. What's clear, Mr. Speaker, is any time those Conservatives have an opportunity to support lower-income or vulnerable families and their access to truly affordable housing, they vote against every single measure.
Look, a little bit sassy for me, but it is the truth. Many of us have called out the fact that Pierre Poilievre continues to mooch off taxpayers by continuing to live in the residence of the official opposition leader. He's not the official opposition leader. He doesn't even have a seat. That wasn't even a personal attack. It is just the fact. But anyways, on the main issue, should home prices go down? That's a perfectly valid question. They could have asked that question without setting up Gregor Robertson to be hated by Canadians. It is a valid question that Liberals have not been upfront about. Gregor Robertson was actually truthful in saying he doesn't think home prices should go down. Think about this for a sec. Imagine you're a person who owns a home right now. Say your house is worth $1 million. You bought it maybe 3 years ago. Or say you're in retirement. Let's use that example. For lots of baby boomers, that's their entire life savings. They may choose to downsize as they grow older to fund their retirement, but homes are treated as investments by a lot of people who already own a home. That sucks for young people like me trying to get into the market. But the fact is, there is no timeline where that $1 million house that you want comes on the market for $700K or whatever you consider affordable, right? That's just not the path to affordable housing. More supply might help stabilize prices and slow the rate of price increase, but I would not expect prices to come down significantly. So in that sense, Gregor Robertson is just being honest. I know the media kind of blew it up and made him look like a devil, but it's true what he said, right? Carney, on the other hand, is not as straightforward. Some people like to say he lies, but he's not straightforward, right? maybe because he knows he'll get chewed up for it. Like, listen to what Carney says here.
Do you want house prices to go down in Canada?
I want house prices to be more affordable for Canadians. And let me explain that. It means a number of things. One, in the very short term, it means getting specific costs out of the price. So for new home buyers, is as many people know, and I want everybody to know this, cutting GST on homes, new homes, and ensuring that particularly younger Canadians get the benefit from that. So that's the first thing. The second thing we want is to strip out, and we will do, put in place measures so to strip out, in fact, half the development charges for construction on homes. So again, another measure that in the near term will lower the cost of new term homes, and those lower costs should be passed on to home buyers. The third thing we think needs to happen, and we'll do at scale, is to help develop a much more efficient home building industry in Canada on a path to a broader doubling of the rate of home growth in Canada. So all of those factors are going to help to improve affordability. The exact level of house prices, of course, is going to be a function of a variety of factors, including where incomes grow.
Look, in every way that matters, Carney and Gregor Robertson are saying exactly the same thing. Carney is just adding a little bit of fluff material. Instead of getting home prices down, the Liberals are focusing on cutting GST for first-time home buyers. Like, this was the promise they made on the campaign trail. It's pretty similar to what the Conservatives are too, right? That will save people up to $50,000 on a new home, right? It will save first-time home buyers up to $50,000. In the grand scheme of things, shaving $50K off a $1 million home doesn't necessarily make it more affordable. Now you're paying $950,000 instead of $1 million. Like, congratulations. They also want to cut development charges. The idea with that is they can reduce the costs that builders pass on to the buyers. And also, it seems like the key for Carney is getting wages up. And I think that's where the entire strategy really becomes clear. You increase supply and keep home prices steady for a bit. Then you find a way to get wages up at a rate faster than home prices increase. That's the basic strategy. That's my understanding of the strategy. The GST break and the reduced development cost strategy will help in this case. With all these things together, they expect to have a net positive effect of making home prices more affordable. It's a more complicated answer that Carney has given here, but it's an answer that young people will find very repulsive because ultimately it just means home prices won't go down. Work harder, right? That's really all it boils down to in the end, right? That's what the Liberals are telling young people. Now, to be fair, some people have argued that prices should go down, mostly because over the last 20 years, home prices in Canada have gone up approximately 220%. Comparatively, home prices in the US have only gone up 100%. They've only doubled over the last 20 years. So really, you could say, why won't baby boomers and older Canadians just give up a little bit of that profit so their grandkids can get into the housing market? Well, obviously, there's a fundamental assumption there that is staring you right in the face. Like, not everybody bought their place in 2005. 2005 is not coming back. You know, things are never going to be that affordable ever again. I don't think. The fact is, some people bought their properties in 2021, for example, at the peak of housing prices, right? Really, anybody who bought in the last 5 years would be screwed if home prices go down. If they're trying to sell, if they're trying to sell right now. I mean, if they have a long time horizon, they'll ultimately be fine. But if they're trying to sell right now, they would be screwed. So beyond the people who are trying to sell right now, who maybe bought not too long ago, the developers as well won't love that idea of home prices going down. You know why? Because you're essentially floating the possibility of them making less money. Tell me a developer that wants to make less money. Right? Good luck getting them to actually build more homes for less money. So look, I'll be honest. Personally, I want home prices to go down because I don't own a home yet. So I want to be able to afford more than a shack when I'm ready to buy a home. But I think it is a bit hypocritical for people to sit there and pretend like Gregor Robertson is the reason home prices won't go down. Like, like he can lie to you, he can tell you a lie, and I'm actually surprised he didn't lie. He could have done what Carney did here and give you a more complicated answer that means exactly the same thing. He told you essentially what I expect to happen, which is home prices won't go down. Anyways, I know a lot of my audience is older, mostly because I talk about politics and young people don't rock with that. But I'm curious if you would like to see home prices go down. Also, how would you like to see the federal government tackle the affordability of homes? Let me know. Let me know what you think in the chat, okay? And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care, you guys.